You know, I'm not going to say our boy because of what he's associated with now. But you know, we've watched a lot of Andrew Callaghan's videos and enjoyed them.
I think he's the Channel 5 news guy. I like that.
Yeah, Channel 5 news guy used to be all gas, no brakes. I don't know how many of you have heard it yet. Uh-oh.
Well,
We've got an uh-oh for Andrew Callaghan.
Oh, no.
There's an oopsie out there. Any guesses? Don't read the chat. Any guesses?
Did something inappropriate with a lady?
Allegedly.
Oh, shit.
And not a lady.
A dog?
No, Jesus Christ, no, multiple women.
Oh.
No, I mean, you know what?
Because I didn't read gay off of him, so I'm like, all right, if it's not a lady, then he's going pooch pounding or something.
No. See, I'm sorry. I may have led you the wrong way. No, I wasn't saying worse. I meant worse than that, multiples. Oh. I thought you were going to accidentally go to dude, but you just kind of...
I just...
jumped over the...
I mean, he's a big name. Maybe he's gone, well, what? I don't know.
Well, Andrew Callaghan, who is not, by the way, an attractive man, so...
How did he pull it off?
The allegations are that he didn't have to pull it off. He just did. Misconduct allegations against all gas, no brake star Andrew Callaghan have come to light. A TikToker, don't fuck anyone with a TikTok also. That's a new rule. New rule, okay. If you fuck anyone with a TikTok, you're gay.
Like everyone has a fucking TikTok now.
Yeah, well, gotta get rid of them.
My dick has a TikTok.
Gotta get rid of TikTok. No fucking anyone with a TikTok. It's just, ugh. No. Do you really want to have a partner who's sitting there filming shit and they're cutting it up and posting it up on the... Stop. No TikToks. So a TikToker recently took to the video sharing platform to share her experience with the 25-year-old content creator. Because you see, Johnny, what we do now is we just go to TikTok to make our accusations. We don't go to the police anymore.
Yeah, we just let it happen in a court of public opinion.
Right. You just do it on TikTok, and then everyone can judge the guy, and then you don't have to go through a trial. It's really great.
And you don't have to actually prove that you're not full of shit.
Right. You just go ahead and you make your accusations. I have a lot of respect for women who go to the police. I think it's incredibly brave. I think it takes a lot of balls. It takes a lot of courage. Or I have a lot of respect for people who just like, look, I'm going to get through this, whatever. There's this middle way of doing it that I don't. I respect the shit or get off the pot thing. Like, if women go, look, I don't want to go through it. It's too embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go and report. Okay, I'm going to move on with my life. I'm going to get past it. Okay. Or if they go, fuck it, I'm going to go to the police right now. Those two things, perfect. It's the people who are like, you know what I'll do? And then these are the people who make me believe that there's more to the story than what they're saying. Is like, I'm going to go to a place of public opinion. I'm going to let them know this horrible thing happened to me. I'm going to blame that person publicly, and I'm not going to file any kind of criminal charges.
Wait, are you implying that maybe these people are curating their stories to put their best face forward, and maybe it's not all...
Right. When you go to TikTok to report that a guy's been a sex pest, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like for me, it's like, hey, this guy's a perv. Like, you are a TikTok whore.
Yeah, like the Chris D'Elia thing I get because he didn't really, I don't think there's any crimes, like actual law breaking that he did, other than maybe the age stuff, depending on how old they were. And there's always a blurry line on that, depending on how old they were. But in terms of like him, it's not illegal to text a girl and say, get on all fours right now and send me pictures. Because you can just tell that person to go fuck themselves.
Especially if you do it on Snapchat, because those don't get saved.
Oh, Chris, you can save those. That was his reaction, too. He just sat there silently.
Just kind of eyebrows raised like, oh.
Now,
fuck.
Since then, several other women have claimed that the internet personality violated them.
Yeah, but it's easy to jump on the bandwagon at this point. There's already a freaking mob and flaming torches. You just light one up yourself.
To me, when it's one, I go, okay, these two had a bad experience. Like the Aziz Ansari accusations. Aziz Ansari was accused by some woman of being a Me Too guy. And then when he told his story, you go, oh, okay, this makes sense now. They had a Netflix and chill night. He went for it. She said no. She stayed. They kept watching the movie. He went for it again a little later. She said no again. And then after the second or third rejection, he went, can I just give you some money so you can get an Uber or a cab and get the fuck out of here?
Made it very clear that, like, oh, we're not doing the thing I wanted to do,
Right.
so I don't know what you thought this was for, but no.
Yeah. Aziz Ansari is one of those guys who was unfairly Me Too'd because it was like he wanted to fuck a girl. She didn't want to, so he sent her packing. Which, by the way, is fine because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we don't this weird thing too now, like with the trans people. You gotta accept us. You have to let me stay in your apartment even though I have no intention of putting out. Like, you forgot what the whole deal was here.
Right. If she says no, wouldn't you rather have him send her packing than like keep her there and try to force himself on her?
Yeah, and if she says no repeatedly, isn't it clear that both of you need to find someone else to hang out with because you have different ideas of a fun time?
So TikToker Cornbread Casserole. See, this is why if you want to report someone, you got to go to the right places. Because when I hear that Cornbread Casserole is making a TikTok about Andrew Callaghan, I'm like, okay, how serious are we? TikToker Cornbread Casserole was the first among many women to come forward and comment on the issue. In the video, she claimed that Andrew Callaghan wore her down and coerced her into getting intimate on the night of the alleged assault. So, okay, we've got to be careful about shit like this. Wore her down and coerced her into getting intimate. So he tried to fuck. It's kind of like the Aziz Ansari thing. Tried to fuck. She said no. Tried to fuck later. She said no. Tried to fuck again. She went, okay, sure. Well, he broke me down and he coerced me. Well, the minute the guy wants to fuck, and that's what he's there for, and you don't want to, this is the advice I would give women. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. At what point, like, if he's throwing out the move and you have to shut him down, why are you not just like, hey, that's not going to happen?
I'll tell you why. Because they're like, well, I still want to hang out with him. He doesn't want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Don't hang out with people who don't want to hang out with you.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. It's like, I want to hang out with him. I want to be around him. Like, yeah, but he's looking for a very particular thing.
Right.
And if you're hanging out with him, he assumes you're going to do the thing. Well, I don't want to do the thing, but I just want to hang out with him. Well, he can't find someone to do the thing if he's hanging out with you. I don't care about that. That's the problem.
Yeah. Wore her down is the epitome of never having to take responsibility. All right, we've all been in high school.
But who wore it better?
We've all been in high school. We've all been in college. We've all had those times where you're hooking up and you're trying to finesse it. You're trying, you know what it's called? Trying to get laid. You're trying to get laid. Now, if she says, if she says no after you try, you stop trying. And then if you're hanging out and then an hour later, you want to see if, things have changed a little bit. And she's, in my opinion, as long as you stop at no, it's fine. It's okay.
I mean, that sounds reasonable, but what would I know? Oh, I'm going to go start my car.
You piece of shit. You son of a bitch. He asked too much and she got pissed. Yeah, get the fuck out of there. If you don't like him asking so much, leave. He's not into you. He doesn't like you as a person. He wants you as a trophy. He wants to fuck your head off. I mean, it'll probably be disappointing. He won't. Every guy's like, oh, I want to fuck her brains out. Whether or not you fuck her brains out is kind of up to how she's enjoying how you fuck. You technically don't have any control over whether or not you're going to fuck her brains out. That's like her saying, I'm going to stick it in him so hard. Like, if that's the case, we better have a discussion first. I will tell you that he did eventually get consent, and that's the main point, is that he eventually got consent because he wore me down. This is not something, I'm sorry, but this situation is not something that the public needs to know about. This is something that, here's what this rises to. This doesn't rise to the level of a crime. This doesn't rise to the level of prosecution. This rises to the level of you two having a conversation about, hey, I got to tell you, you were a little aggressive the other night. If we're going to see each other again, you got to fucking back it off because that wasn't cool. That's what that is. But also, I would say that if a guy keeps trying to finger blast you and you said no to him twice, you go, hey, you know what? Let's call it a night. Maybe we'll go out again. Maybe we won't. You get the fuck out of there. You just leave. He told me he needed a place to stay for the night. He had some sort of falling out with one of his crew members or whatever, and I was very clear about the fact that we are not hooking up. Okay, that's good. That's great. And I will say this. As we read this, he does seem like a creep. He looks like a creep. Andrew Callaghan looks like a creepy dude. He kind of wears it on his face. So, again, be mindful of the company you keep. If you see a creepy guy and he's saying creepy shit and he's doing creepy things, he might be a creep. There's a good chance that he's a creep. He gets in my bed and wears me down to the point where I eventually do agree to do things that I wasn't proud of. And I wasn't proud of them and thought it was my fault for so long that I continued to be nice to him. Oh, boy. Oh, we have the actual... we have the TikTok here. All right, let's check it out. Yeah. Well, what do we want to? Well, let's play first and then decide.
I never in a million years thought that I would be making this video, and I'm shaking because I've tried a couple different times and haven't been able to get my point across, but I don't like seeing abusers get platforms. And my abuser, Andrew Callaghan, also known as All Gas No Breaks, Channel 5, and whatever his new HBO show's called, I forget.
By the way, I can see that HBO show going away now.
Oh, and I totally...
by the way, this is creepy. Like, don't get me wrong. He is, like, those guys who keep going after 2, 3, 4 no's at his age. Like, look, high school, early college, people in their late teens, early 20s, they don't have a lot of experience. Guys are trying to fuck all the time. You know, to me, if you stop at no, okay, there is aggressive behavior, but it's not illegal. To me, you just got to make sure you stop at no and you don't go unless you get a yes.
Well, I completely agree with that, but I also want to say for me, personal experience and stuff, I have trouble just believing a lady's like, well, this is what happened. It's like, that's what happened? Because I could totally see what happened, being her just kind of playing it off a little bit, and she doesn't really want to push it too hard because, you know, I don't want to chase off this guy. But he needs a place to stay. You're just going to be super nice and let him stay at your place?
Yeah, you can't.
The guy's got fucking money. He can get a goddamn hotel.
And we're not doing this to attack women. We're doing it to kind of educate in a way. Well, like, these guys are fucking creepy. These guys are going to lie and cheat and steal to try and get what they want. And if they look like Andrew Callaghan, they're probably a creep.
And like I just said, for me, the problem I have is that it's like, oh, Channel 5 and whatever his new HBO show is called, I forget. Yeah, it's called You've Got a Lawyer.
Has been plastered all over my news feed, and I've tried to come to him person to person and try to get him to take accountability for what he did, but his version of what happened the night that he assaulted me is so skewed.
Okay, so we've got two people with two different stories. You know what this kind of because I'm kind of going back and forth between he tried really hard to get laid, she relented, she regrets it. And then I'm going between that and he's a creepy guy who's a little too aggressive with trying to get it. Where I'm at now is I think things went bad after they fucked, and now they both have different accounts of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I will tell you that he did eventually get consent. And that's the main point, is that he eventually got consent because he wore me down. He told me he needed a place to stay for the night. He had some sort of falling out with one of his crew members or whatever. And I was very clear about the fact that we are not hooking up.
Then don't bring him into your house.
Don't
I need a place to crash for that. We are not hooking up.
Don't bring someone of the opposite sex into your home if you're saying we're not hooking up. Unless they're like a relative or close friend or whatever.
But yeah, especially if one of those people very much has an interest in you or in the other person.
Gals, most of the time, if a guy goes into a house or a room with you, he wants to fuck. Not even saying he's a bad guy for thinking that. But most of the time, if he goes with you somewhere alone, he wants to fuck. That we could save ourselves a lot of uncomfortable situations. We could save ourselves a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of inconvenience, a lot of miscommunication if we just remember this one simple rule. Just because a woman takes you somewhere doesn't mean she wants to fuck you. Mm-hmm. But if a guy wants to go somewhere alone with you, he wants to fuck you.
I mean,
guys have to remember that not everything from women is a sign they want to fuck you. And women have to remember that most of the things from guys are signs they want to fuck you.
I just really like playing checkers.
And Johnny's a homosexual.
He gets in my bed and wears me down to the point where I eventually do agree to do things that I wasn't proud of.
Kick him out of your fucking bed. Tell him, get the fuck out of here.
Why is he still in your house if he eventually gets in my bed and wears me down? The getting in the bed thing.
Yeah, no getting in the bed. If he needs a place to stay, he doesn't need to stay in your bed. He can stay on the couch.
Yeah, he can crash on the couch. And if he doesn't understand the couch crashing availability thing, like I said, I don't know if you're aware of this, that guy can afford a hotel.
And like you said, Andrew Callaghan, yeah, he can afford to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, man. I do think she got duped. I do think he was overly aggressive, it sounds like, but it also sounds like there's a second side to this story that would illuminate a lot of things.
I could easily believe her thinking that there was a relationship in this and him thinking it was a one-night stand.
Yeah.
And then the next day when reality rears its ugly head and he's like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. And she's like, oh, well, now this is rape.
That's happened before.
And I wasn't proud of them and thought it was my fault for so long that I continued to be nice to him after the situation. He wouldn't leave my house the next morning. And then as time went on and I processed things, I thought, you know what? Just because eventually I said, okay, whatever, because I was trying to just get the whole night over with so that it could be morning so that he could leave.
Kick him the fuck out. Girls need to be meaner. You girls need to, and I understand it's not in your nature as much. You need to be meaner. And I understand, like, it's a big guy and you're scared he could hurt you or something like that. But a guy like that, you got to kick him the fuck out. She should have kicked this guy out. And told him, look, quit trying to fucking finger blast
Am
me.
I the only guy that's ever been told to fuck off? Like, I feel like...
Right.
Oh, am I only finding the really mean women and, like, all the ones that I guess are pliable are just evading me? Like, what the...
Doesn't discount the fact that I told him no. So I told him no so many times prior to this. I said, I'm tired. I'm not really feeling it. I came up with any excuse that I possibly could to just get him off of me. And he still found a way to coerce me into things that I didn't want to do. And this is really hard for me to say. I never thought I would come forward, but it's even more hard to have to relive the trauma that I endured every single day by seeing this man as a social justice warrior, as someone who cares about human rights.
That's true. Like, he is. I didn't realize this until I watched some interview with him. He is like he's like a big time lefty.
Oh.
And it's really funny that all these big time lefties end up being creepy dudes. Like, they end up being weirdo.
Not a lefty,
creepy.
just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying, not a lefty.
Yeah, like, I would really like to see, because, you know, and April and I have had this conversation on the show before. Men are, look, the right answer is men should behave themselves. Absolutely, 100%. They shouldn't cross the line like this guy did. They shouldn't do it. But they're not going to. So we need women to be sharper about how the game is played. I think we need to teach our daughters, our sisters, our wives, whatever, how the game is played to stay away from these kind of tricky situations like this woman found herself.
Yeah, I'm going overboard. I'm doing self-defense classes. I'm like, she's going to learn Taekwondo.
Yeah,
she's going to break your dick off and choke you with it if she doesn't want to do that thing.
We're going to give you a fucking bow staff. How's that? You're going to know how to use it. But yeah, you got to... I wouldn't have let him in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had friends who needed a place to stay, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, man, I got a family and all that shit.
And they weren't trying to fuck you.
And they weren't even trying to fuck me. They just needed a place to sleep, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
I just know you snore and you fart in your sleep, and I don't want to put up with that.
Get a platform. You shouldn't be supporting him. And at the end of the day, like, I've told close friends of mine, I've tried coming out about this before, and he texted me saying that it basically ruined his life and that his life was over now because of things that I said, and other women have come forward to me, but this is my first time publicly talking about it on a platform like TikTok because I hope it gets traction. I hope people listen to me. I hope that if something similar has happened to you, that you know that that's not your fault. It wasn't my fault.
He's not, like, the reason I believe her is a lot of it's because he's fucking goofy, gross, and creepy looking. And I can see him being Asperger's-y enough that he sees the no as not like a no in totality, but a no one time. Because think about it. Aziz Ansari got a no, and he said, well, then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
If we're not fucking, you got to go home.
Well, I mean...
Whereas this guy kind of weaseled his way into her house.
Yeah.
And then he went in there and he just kept, picking away until he fucked her.
Again, maybe it's because I'm a guy, but I'm sitting there screaming like, as the chick, like, why did you, like, where did you see this going? Just at a certain point, I'm like, you got to send him packing. Like, he's got to leave.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. Don't get me wrong. But like, could you just, like I said, I would like it if guys would just fucking behave themselves, but I know that's not going to happen. By the way, our chat is going
nuts.
Bananas over this right now. Let's see. Marshall McMarshallson says, "Oh, this guy, yikes!" Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the point I was making. Please, I refuse to believe any adult woman doesn't know how a dude who wants to get laid operates. This chick is mad because she was promised something she didn't get.
Look, I'm not saying that is the scenario. I'm saying I could see that being the scenario.
Yeah, look, man, it's hard because this is why this shit should be handled by the authorities. Well, I guess there's no authorities. He didn't break a law.
Yeah.
But, like, this is why this shit shouldn't be handled on TikTok. That's what frustrates me.
The court of public opinion. We're all experts.
Right.
Get the black light. I want to see what glows.
So, it's... The ugly fuckling says a retard took advantage of another retard. Yeah, Union Jack says, you think this is a unique thing that happened to you, lady? Actually, no. Other women have come forward and said this is kind of his thing. He kind of
pushes and
keeps
pushes
going
and
and keeps going and keeps going until you finally say, all right, fine, we can fuck.
He's a thrill of the hunt kind of guy.
I'll say this. Can't, and maybe Andrew Callaghan can't. Maybe he's not a real big ladies guy. Maybe he's not into chicks, man. But when we were younger, like, we've had fucks like that. They're not good. You don't feel good about them.
You worked way too hard.
You worked way too hard. You can kind of tell she's not totally into it. I don't like that kind of shit. It's not fun. Like, don't you want the other person to be enthusiastic about it. You want the other person to be excited about it.
Yeah, I have a really bad marketing game for sex. I'm just always like, you can leave.
Yeah, right. Sandy Squatch says, whoops. God, our chat just
flying,
and now I can't find it. Please, don't you want it? I know you want it. Please. Oh, come on. Let's do it. I know you want to. Please. No, that's it. Case closed. Yeah, well, I mean, look, that guy, Andrew Callaghan, apparently has a more persistent game. Could he sue her for slander because she said yes and gave consent eventually? No, I don't think he can sue her for that because
if that's what happened, it's not
right,
slander.
If that's what happened. Right. She's not saying that, the guy should be in jail or anything. Marshall McMarshallson says they both have regrets. Yeah, that's kind of what we're thinking.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like
they both regret it.
It wasn't as fun as someone thought it would be. And like I said, I think one person very much had a one and done sort of mentality, and someone else thought maybe there was more to this.
Frank Nutterbutter says your eyes always give you away. You can believe her if you want, but the last clip proved to me she is directly making stuff up. Don't know how much, but some of this is fantasy. Psychiatry is amazing. Oh, okay. Well, are you a psychiatrist, Frank Nutterbutter? If so, that's frightening to me.
And what are you doing Wednesday? I need help.
Yeah. Fat chick wanted a relationship. He banged her and ghosted her, and she regretted it. Yeah, there might be some of that in there where she wanted to be with the Channel 5 guy.
Yeah, she saw this as her, like, I found this person and I like a lot of what he thinks. We're very politically oriented in the same way, so this is great.
Yeah, that might be it. King Cold says, I'm telling you, if anyone is regretting this night of passion, it's Andrew. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, I'm sure
now,
he is
especially. But beforehand, I don't know. I'd like to think Andrew has a mirror and some self-consciousness.
Right. Cornbread Casserole uploaded another TikTok video where she showed evidence that they knew each other. She shared a text message where the two were coordinating about the night they planned to meet. Her video also included a picture of them posing in front of a mirror. In the video, she shared the experiences of how other women anonymously came forward. Several stories included the 25-year-old Channel 5 journalist. He's 25?
Yeah.
That is the most shot-out 25-year-old I've ever seen in my life. And by the way, he's probably younger here in this picture. He's probably 23, 24. That's a 25-year-old man?
He looks like he left, audio video production class
Yeah.
like last week. But I mean, I don't know.
This cannot be William Wallace. I am prettier than this man.
No, that was a woman. Same one.
So here's another update from this lady. She made another video about Andrew Callaghan.
On Reddit, feel free to do that, but I can't mentally handle this anymore. This was Andrew and I agreeing to hang out when he was in St. Pete. This was us the night at the bar.
Ew.
Okay. How slutty are you dressed right now? Like, you got no upper shirt on? What, have you been drinking?
I got to be honest, that's pretty conservative. She doesn't have her ass out or anything like that. What is this, 1952?
She's posing for a picture in the bathroom.
Look, she likes her titties. She wants her titties out. I get it.
But my point is, if you're putting your titties out, don't be surprised when you attract someone who wants titty meat.
Well, no, I understand, like, yeah, but then you get into the thing where, if a woman dresses with her tits out, can she not hang out with someone?
She can hang out with someone.
If she has her tits out like that, does she have to fuck a guy?
No, she doesn't have to fuck him, but she has to be well aware that maybe that's what he's after.
I see. You're saying that, like, don't think that he's just hanging out with you because you have a great personality here at the bar.
Because again, your tits are out.
The chopper is God, and I am his son, Jesus Christ. He looks like Steve Coogan from Tropic Thunder. Tug Speedman, he can't cry. He can't cry.
Who's the grip? The lead grip.
The key grip.
Hit
Hit that director in the face really fucking hard. Sorry, man. Great going, Fats. You just got us all killed.
We went into the bathroom to take a photo because this bar, the bathroom has its own Instagram page, and it's just something people do at that bar. So
you guys go to gay bars together. That's adorable.
So wait a minute. You wanted to pose for a picture in a public place where a lot of people post pictures and share them on Instagram because you want to join this whole... It just seems like you wanted to be part of a social thing. And like I said, if it was a one and done scenario, especially if he did, like she said, like kind of push for it. Like maybe she was like, I'm going to save it for the second date.
He wanted to fuck, yeah.
And he's like, there's no date 2 in this equation.
This is one of those scenarios where it's just, there's so many things in life where you go, all right, you go that way, you go that way. You two just don't talk to each other ever again.
like I said many times before, I trusted him, and people are blaming me for trusting him, and I did, and it is what it is. This is a comment from someone who I've been speaking with about what happened to her. This is a message I got about a year ago from someone who said that he has been known to associate with underage girls. This is the story from...
But I don't like these has been known to, has been... Like, I saw your story and I finally gathered the courage to share mine on Insta the other day. Like, there's too much of this, like, it has to be me as the center of attention.
And it's vague. Like, all the accusations, all the shit is vague. Like, Cosby, it's different because they're like, he put a drug in my drink and then he fucked me. That's an accusation. That's like coming out. Now you got people going, oh yeah, someone sent me a message which could be complete and utter bullshit saying, oh yeah, he's been known to hang out with underage girls. That sounds like something a woman who wanted to date you and it didn't work out would say. Like a smear rumor they would make up about you. I don't know, man.
It's too easy to jump on the bandwagon. There's no evidence. There's no... Like, I don't count text messages of you saying this happened. That's not evidence. That's you saying it happened.
That's hearsay.
The same person of her experience. You can pause to read any of this stuff.
No.
This is about how he was canceled on his French Quarter confession show when he went to Loyola because of the same sorts of allegations. You can pause to read that. Just another story.
Look, Andrew is a fucking lefty dude. A progressive lefty dude, so he probably tries to fuck progressive lefty chicks. And all of you guys you're not direct with each other. You're not open with each other. You play these weird games where, like, you can take back consent later and, you can do this. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for the guy.
Look, I'm innocent after the fact. Like, but no.
But I don't feel bad for him at all.
Oh, I don't feel bad for him.
Like, you did this to yourself. You hung out with these fucking chicks. you don't hang out with a woman that you kind of have to really, work on to fuck them if you're a famous guy.
Well, I'd say just in general, don't date your fans. Like, try to meet somebody is somewhat organically. Like, I just feel like, oh, I've got a lot of people that like the stuff I do. I'm going to hit up my fan base and be like, hey, I'm in this town. Who's, like, open to get some, deep dick? And, like, it's just, that's a bad.
I'm sorry. Were you reading Chris D'Elia's Instagram? You son of a bitch.
He's got a list of women who he gets to give him head. Another instance of sexual assault. And I'm keeping these people private, and they've all consented to me sharing their stories.
Yeah, because...
And I'm doing so because private. I've already put my face out there. I'm already getting all the hate. It is what it is at this point. There's another story. More people saying that they've heard about this before.
Yeah.
Another story. My inbox is flooded with people saying that they are proud of me for speaking up because they're too scared to, so I'm sharing their stories for them. This is absolutely taking a huge toll on my mental health.
Okay, but she's saying, like, look at all these messages I have. Those messages aren't girls saying that he's doing this to them. A lot of these messages are people going, oh, I knew him when he was in high school, and he used to do this, that, and this, and that, and the other thing. It's like, none of these things are crimes. Like, he might be I totally believe he'd be a creep. I think he's absolutely a creep. But he's not a criminal creep. And is it okay for me to not like anybody in this story?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay, because I don't like anybody in this story.
I don't know Andrew Callaghan.
Or Callan. You don't know Andrew Callan either.
I don't know Andrew Callaghan. I just know he makes damn good brake pads. But
here at Callaghan Auto.
I'm just saying, the guy might be behaving inappropriately. I can totally see that. But one thing I don't like is this, like, oh, I'm coming forward with these accusations. Oh, I'm telling these people's stories, and I'm hiding their identities to protect their identities.
Yeah.
No, you can't share their stories now. I'm sorry. Andrew Callaghan's name is on this, and his life and career get affected by what you're accusing him of. So those
he has
people,
a right to defend himself.
Yeah, so those people don't get to namelessly be put up through you as more hearsay proof that, oh, this is totally true, because everyone says they've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
I can see that a lot of you don't want to believe women when they come forward about things.
Oh, no, whoa. Pump this is why you fucking don't be a lefty guy and don't fuck lefty chicks. Just fucking don't. Stay away from them. Left of center liberals, fine. Moderates, fine. Conservatives, fine. Far right chicks, they're fucking crazy. Keep it within the, Overton window, if you will. But like this whole thing about, hey, I'm coming up with this story that's very low on details and very low on specifics and very low on any kind of evidence. Oh, you just don't believe women who are victims? Like, no, I believe a shitload of them.
I believe women who are victims, but you remember that part where you said you eventually gave consent?
Yeah.
That's where you waved goodbye to victimhood.
So I'm sorry,
you made a bad decision. You got bamboozled, whatever, but you're not a victim.
That's some like every bad sexual experience is not worthy of a cancellation or a crime. But like that's some sociopathic shit where you go, oh, you don't believe every word I say about this very vague story I've thrown out there? Well, then you must not believe women. It's like, no. I can believe women, but also go, hey, the stuff you're giving us is like really vague and it seems kind of shitty to end a guy's career over this. Like almost this should be fleshed out more before it's presented. But
I don't know. That argument just kind of triggers me, pisses me off, whatever you want to call it, just because it's like, oh, you don't believe me? You must not believe victims when they come forward. Like, that's the same people go, oh, you don't want to fuck trans people? You transphobe? It's like, no, I just have rules that you're ignoring.
I can see that a lot of you don't want to believe women when they come forward about things. And
I believe you. I believe the story you're telling me. But what I'm saying back to you is, what do you want me to do about it? Like, it's not a crime. What happened isn't a crime. You had an awkward sexual encounter with a guy. You had bad sex. You're young. It's gonna happen. The best you can do out of this is go, I'm not going to bring these strange fucking creeps into my home anymore. I'm certainly not going to let them into my bed. And if a guy's trying to fuck me and I'm not feeling like fucking, I'm going to kick him out.
Silver lining, at least you got sex.
You got sex.
I've just got to say that says a lot about your personality and who you are. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and if you think I'm making it up,
I don't think you're making it up.
That's on you.
Yeah, but I don't think you're making it up.
I don't think you're making it up. I think you're exaggerating. I think you're embellishing. And I think this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do because, I was forced to come onto TikTok and share my story through a handle I have on TikTok. So it's not like, I'm actually saying, hi, my name is so-and-so, and this is what happened to me. And now I've got people combing through my life or calling my place of employment saying, you know what, you better cancel this lady because she's a lying, again, there's a very big difference between going after a public person and then saying, oh, well, I'm not gonna admit to what happened or what's going on. I'm just gonna say it's not really my fault. I was coerced. I was pushed into it.
Yeah. The worst part is because she's only a victim, she won't learn a lesson, says Skeezy. Yeah, I mean, look, people should behave themselves. Absolutely. But you also, it doesn't hurt to to protect yourself as well. It doesn't hurt. An ugly fat chick got me drunk and took advantage of me. I woke up the next day ashamed. Should I have gone to the police? No, he had a bad night.
Yeah, but that's the thing. How many guys have done this? Look, all right, she got consent from me eventually because I was half asleep with a chub and she just kind of climbed on top and did what she wanted.
Yeah, right.
It just doesn't.
Brittany Martini says, I'm tired of people conflating regret sex with rape. And that does seem like what's this happening. Was. She fucked a famous guy. She didn't get what she wanted out of it. It was an awkward night of sex to begin with. So now she's like, well, I clearly regret this. I wish I hadn't done this. So I'm going to out him for how our sex went. You're going to out him for a bad fuck, basically. And that to me is a little...
I mean, if he was just somebody at your office and you guys were talking about this with all people, then fine, whatever. But like I said, the whole I've got to go on TikTok and I've got to jump out in front of everyone and be like, look, pay attention to me so I can tell you about how I was victimized.
Yeah. Back to the Lab says, I don't even think he's a creep. He lacks game and he barely scraped by into consensual sex. Big whoop. I mean, that's pretty accurate. He barely scraped by. The one thing, okay, I'll own my shit. Instead of me trying to criticize this guy or criticize this woman, I'll own my shit. There is something about the asking multiple times and the getting the no and continuing to go and continuing to, try and get it. That's a little off-putting to me. But again, just because that's off-putting to me doesn't mean that this guy should lose all his jobs and he should be canceled and Me Too'd and all that shit. I have a little shame in his game. That's it. But again, she said it herself. She did relent. She did end up consenting. So
I don't know. I've known women they'll sit there and tell you no, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to have sex with you. But then they'll also be physical with you. It's like this weird fucking mixed signal thing. Yeah. And I don't like that. That's probably why I get so But for Andrew, I will say this. If you're in that situation, you got to go, nope, never mind. You said no. We're done.
Yeah, to me, no. If you're going to say no, you can't do the making out thing. You can't keep being affectionate because if you're still affectionate with the guy, once you start making out,
it's game on.
It's not like there's this firm line between making out and sex. It's a gradient. When you're making out, there's a gradient. You're going to the tits. You're taking clothes off. You're squeezing an ass. You're maybe, sliding a finger down. Whatever. Sorry to give everybody boners.
Slipping a didge.
You're slipping a didge. There's a gradient, and you stop him at different points on the gradient. So if you say he goes in for the pussy and you say no, and then you guys keep making out, you can rest assured that he's probably going to keep going down the gradient again to see what he can get. If you're going to say no, it's got to be no.
Yeah, it's got to be all the way. And it's again, no means not staying over, not being in my bed. No means no.
Exactly. Let's go to Mikey. Mikey, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, I think all these broads need to go back and watch Paper Tigers because Bill Burr laid it out perfectly. No means no. No.
Right.
That means no. No. stop. No, that doesn't mean no.
Yeah, I mean, no means no. I agree with that 100%. But no, and let's keep making out, that no then becomes a let's table this for a later discussion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
True.
All right, man. Thank you very much for the call.
Bye.
All right. That, by the way, I got to say this about Mikey. Perfect call. That was a perfect call. That was nice, concise, to the point. There, you know what? I am interested in people's opinions on this particular topic. This one's always a hot button issue. This kind of stuff in general. So I just put the phone number in the chat. If you'd like to chime in, there's the studio line. If you'd like to call into the program. But you're right. I was trying to figure out what my actual take on this was because it is really confusing. And you're right. You kind of nailed it with the look. If you're saying no, you got to cut off all the physical activity.
Yeah, you can't give him no, but then have him have any sign of hope on this because then he's like, oh, well, I just got to wait this out.
Right. I don't know if men and women see it different or this woman just sees it different. I don't know. But it's not making out this sex. It's intimacy, and then it's on a gradient. Like I said, intimacy is on a gradient. There's not, hey, there's a hard line at making out. There's a hard line at fingering. There's a hard line at oral. There's a hard line at sex.
She proved there was a gradient. She even said he wore her down.
Right.
Which
And then,
meant you were willing to eventually just give in for whatever the reason. But again, if you don't want to give in, kick him out.
you gotta cut all the physical stuff off. All right. Sorry to anyone calling in on a restricted number. We can't take those because people have like shouted the N-word and stuff before when they have the anonymity and whatnot. So you gotta call in with a phone number. That's all. What'd you say?
I said I just screamed Shaka Zulu.
And I's come running for my good buddy John. He's a good man and he's really jealous of my footwork.
When you're right, you're right.
Keith Sartell says, do you know why we are having sex? Because I'm stronger than you. Jesus, man.
That doesn't sound like a consensual relationship.
Doesn't sound good. I'm sorry, Restricted. I can't take the call. If you want to call back on a number, you can do that. I'm sorry, bud. Back in high school and college, the girls would ask me if they could come over and give me some Scaldini. I don't know. They offered. There's something about the term Scaldini that I never want to stop using.
Does that mean, I assume that means a
Blowing,
blowjob?
yeah, blowing them, giving them some Scaldini.
I've never heard that before.
I don't know. I haven't either. I've never heard skull. I've heard skull, but I've never heard Scaldini. We have an update on the Andrew Callaghan thing. So it seems like the internet, whenever there's an accusation against somebody, it's immediately, no matter what level the allegation's at, the guy's a total piece of shit, and he's done, and he's finished, and he's canceled, and then he has to go and apologize, even if he, like, the thing he's apologizing for is just like, not like a criminally horrible offense. Oh boy, there it is. There's our pecan log or whatever the hell you call that thing. Well, anyway, with this Andrew Callaghan thing, we did the video that the accuser made, and it really did seem like Andrew Callaghan and her were having like a makeout session or something like that, and he would go for it and try to escalate things, and then she would say no, and then they'd keep making out, and she would say no, and then they'd keep making out. My problem with the accusation that she's making is that if you don't say no to all of it, and you don't say, no, we're done, we got to cut this off, I don't know. Like, making out is, like I said, sex is on a gradient. It's not like there's making out, and that's a category. There's a hand job, and that's a category. There's grabbing tits, and that's a category. There's fingering, there's eating pussy, sucking dick, like all that. It's not different categories. It's the same thing on a gradient. Yeah. So if you start making out with a guy, he's going to try and have it lead to fucking.
Well, he's going to see how far he can take it.
He's going to see how far he can take it.
I don't fault somebody for that because you're right. You open the door.
So then if you don't want it with that person, you have to cut off the making out as well. Like, you have to cut all of it off. You have to say, oh, no, I don't want to do that tonight. Like, there is no, oh, I just want to make out or I just want to do this.
Right.
Like, that, I'm sorry. It's just, if he Like she even says in her video, she goes, I gave him consent. I told him he could.
End of story then.
Right. She said, I gave him consent. Well, then you regretted it the next day. Well, that doesn't mean that Andrew Callaghan's a rapist or a sex pest or everything else. He's maybe a little aggressive. He really wanted to get laid, and he kept going for it until he either got shut down or he got it. But you never really shut him down.
No, I don't. It seems like a non-story to me.
People want to treat what Andrew Callaghan did or what Aziz Ansari is accused of doing like it's Harvey Weinstein. And it's just not. You can't put these things on the same level. There's different. What Andrew Callaghan did was probably a little aggressive and a little creepy, but he got the yes.
Yep.
He got consent and he had sex. If you don't want a creepy guy like this to be having sex with you, don't invite him into your home. Don't invite him into your bed. Don't be intimate with him. And don't say yes. Tell him no. It sounds like every time she said no to him, he would back it off. It's not like she said no and he did it anyway.
Well, what bothers me too is like you'll get girls, when the girl is asked them, why didn't you say no? She'll be like, oh, I didn't want to be a bitch or I didn't want to be mean. No, be the bitch, be mean, because
Right.
you're going to be that later when you accuse somebody of rape when you said yes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Andrew
Do it the right
Callaghan, the all gas, no brakes host and star of HBO's new documentary, This Place Rules, is responding to sexual misconduct allegations against him, claiming one of the alleged victims asked him for serious dough before making her accusation public. If that's true,
Yikes.
that to me completely invalidates anything she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's already saying that she gave consent. She's already saying Andrew got the yes. Now Andrew Callaghan is saying that she tried to hit me up for money. She tried to blackmail me before she went public with this shit. If that's true and she admits that, Andrew should be canceled from nothing. He should be allowed to have his career. He should be able to
Keep
to
existing.
sue her, I believe.
Yes, because once you put the word rape or like a rapey word with
Sexual
a guy,
assault,
a
anything
sexual
like that.
assault, sex pest, like yikes. Boy, have you wrecked a guy's life.
Right. So to me, what's weird is the internet, whether it's Ethan Klein or anybody or Philip DeFranco or any of these bitches that go commenting about this shit. First of all, they liked Andrew and then threw him under the bus immediately. If a guy were my friend and this was the accusation, I'm not saying I would go out and full throated defend him because I don't know what happened, but I'd be like, hey guys, this is one side of the story. She even said she gave consent. I don't think this is the story that you're making out to be. I'd stand up for my friend in this situation.
I would too. I'd stand up for a guy in this situation.
But like,
she let him in.
Ethan and Philip DeFranco are two of the most cucked out creators on YouTube, and they're doing the, oh, he did wrong and he needs to atone and it's problematic type of, like, no balls to protect their buddy or defend their buddy whatsoever, when clearly this woman has a less than credible claim to any kind of sexual assault. Again, a guy aggressively went after sex. People do that.
Not a crime. Pretty common.
Right. You gave it to him. You regretted it later and said, he broke me down. Okay, well, he's not a mind reader. You said yes to sex. You agreed. You were a co-participant.
I mean, maybe you're being a little weak. Like, have we ever said that before?
But like with
he broke me down.
But the internet makes me feel crazy because you read all their takes like, Andrew's a problem. Andrew's this, Andrew's that. Andrew's a guy trying to get pussy. All right? That's me. Is he creepy? Yup, he's creepy looking. Is he one of these progressive guys who claims to be totally down for women but then is a total creep? Yes. But they all are. All of them are like that. All of these really progressive male feminist types, they're all trying to get into women's pants. Aggressively so. But you can't give it up and then regret it the next day and take it back. That's not how it works. And if you ask this fucking guy for money before you went public with your accusation, to me, that's blackmail.
It is blackmail, and I think you're right. He should sue her.
A legal rep for the journalist tells TMZ, Andrew is devastated that he is being accused of any type of physical or mental coercion against anyone. Conversations about pressure and consent are extremely important, and Andrew wants to have these conversations so he can continue to learn and grow. Don't fuck crazy bitches. How's that?
I've said that before, too. How many times will a guy stick their dick in crazy and then have to deal with it later and be like, I just don't understand why I'm going through this? you've got to do your homework too.
I'm not saying this as a political statement. I'm saying this because I've noticed a trend with people like this. If a woman is still really like hung up on Donald Trump, don't fuck her, because it could end up being a problem.
Yeah.
You did something wrong. You didn't do everything right. This and that. And I'm sorry, but the woman who accused Andrew in that TikTok came off as one of those types of people. And she even said, she's like, I appreciated his progressive politics. Any woman who says that, do not touch her.
How about any woman who is obsessed with your politics?
Yeah, don't touch her.
Don't do it.
Now, he also said, while every dynamic is open to interpretation and proper communication is critical. Okay, that's his passive-aggressive way of saying, look, even though she told me I could fuck her and I fucked her and that was communicated, I'll still throw out some weak-ass apology because I don't want to get in trouble.
You have to know.
But that's what that sentence means.
Yeah.
Repeated requests for money should not be part of these conversations. Okay, good for him. At least he had a lawyer say that part.
It doesn't sound like he's full of shit at all.
No. And again,
it's not hard to believe this story.
I don't think he did anything that should be made public. It should. There's nothing. There's no there. Okay, you guys had a weird, awkward night of sex. Mm-hmm. It happens. You're young. It's going to happen a lot more. It's not the last time. You had some awkward sex. That doesn't mean you go to the entire world and you blab about it on TMZ. Probably got money.
Yes.
Blab about it to TMZ and then go out and try to bury the guy.
I think especially when you're anyone in the public light, like you're any level of celebrity or you have any like social presence, you should be very careful who you're having sex with because of this.
Yeah.
Because you're right. She probably did get a payday from TMZ. She's like, oh, maybe if I sleep with somebody of slight relevance, I could talk about it.
And now she's hitting him up for money. Stormy says, he said, she said, should never stand up in a court within a trial. Where is the evidence? Well, yeah, that's the toughest part about stuff like this is it's all he said, she said. But it's like, as far as Andrew goes, like, yeah, I think it's easy for people to jump down his throat and go after him on this because he looks kind of creepy. Okay,
but there again, that's pretty low hanging fruit.
Right.
There's plenty of unattractive dudes out there that still have sex.
It's absolutely, you're absolutely right. But I'm saying like the reason I think it's so easy because, you know, every personality on the internet is terrified to say the shit we're saying. And what we're saying is not that crazy. It's not that edgy.
It's not. And this type of story is not hard to believe in the slightest.